Every once in a while, a piece of software comes along that's more than just an update. It's a signpost showing us exactly where the future is headed. In early 2026, one open source AI project did just that. It gave us a real glimpse into the future of computing, and the internet absolutely lost its mind over it. This is the story of OpenClaw.
100,000? That's how many stars the OpenClaw project got on GitHub in less than 2 months. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's a growth curve most projects can only dream of. This wasn't just some tech demo people thought was neat. It was a full-blown phenomenon that grabbed the attention of developers everywhere. And the reason for all the hype? Well, it was pretty simple. For so many people, this was the first time they felt like they were using a true AI assistant. Not just another chatbot that spits out answers, but something that could actually take action on its own. The comparison to Jarvis from Iron Man wasn't just a funny meme. It's genuinely how people felt about what this thing could do. But behind this explosion in popularity, things were, well, they were chaotic. The project had a complete identity crisis, burning through 3 different names in a super short period. It started as ClawdBot, then it was Moltbot for a bit, and finally it landed on OpenClaw. Honestly, most projects would not survive that kind of confusion, but the momentum was just unstoppable. Okay, so here's the most important thing to understand, the fundamental difference. A normal chatbot, it's a conversation partner. You ask it something, it gives you back some text. But an AI agent like OpenClaw, it's an executor. You give it a task and it goes off and runs commands, organizes your files and browses the web to get it done. It doesn't just talk, it acts. So how does this thing actually work? I mean, how do you even begin to build an AI that can be trusted to take real actions on your computer? Let's peel back the layers and take a look at the technical design that made this project so incredibly powerful and, as we're about to see, so incredibly dangerous. The architecture is actually pretty elegant. It's broken down into 5 layers. First, you've got channel adapters, which are like a universal translator, taking in messages from a dozen different apps and putting them in one standard format. Then, the gateway server acts like air traffic control, routing everything. Next, the agent runner is like a brain assembly line, perfectly crafting the instructions for the AI model. Then you hit the agentic loop. This is where the real magic happens, letting the AI use tools again and again. And finally, the response path streams the answer right back to you. Now, the real secret sauce here is that agentic loop. See, when a normal chatbot gives you an answer, the conversation's over. But OpenClaw always asks itself, wait, is this answer a tool call? If the AI wants to run a command or open a file, the system just does it. And then it feeds the result of that action right back into the AI's brain. This loop is what lets it chain actions together, like find a file, read it, summarize it, and then email you the summary, all from one simple request. But how does it remember anything? This is another stroke of genius. On the back end, yeah, it's a super sophisticated system with vector search and all that. But for you, the user, its memory is just a bunch of simple markdown files. You can literally open a text file and edit what the AI remembers about you. It's so transparent, so simple, and incredibly powerful. And all of this amazing architecture, it all serves one goal: giving the AI an unbelievable level of access to your computer. We're talking running terminal commands, managing your entire file system, controlling your web browser, and even starting and stopping background tasks. It's not just running on your computer, it's using your computer. And this is where the story takes a sharp turn. Because when you grant an AI this much control, this much power, you create a massive and frankly a terrifying attack surface. The very same things that make OpenClaw feel like it's from the future are what make it a security nightmare waiting to happen. It's a perfect trade-off, isn't it? The ability to run any command is incredible, but it's also a potential backdoor. The power to write to any file is super useful, but it can also be used to install malware. The dream of a Jarvis-like assistant comes with the very real risk of a complete system takeover. And these weren't just theoretical risks. In early February 2026, a critical vulnerability was found, CVE 2026-25253. It allowed an attacker to get remote code execution. That means complete control of your machine, with just a single click on a bad link. It didn't matter if you were behind a firewall, this attack would just walk right in. The attack was just devastatingly simple. A user clicks the link. That one click is enough for the attacker's server to steal their authentication token. The attacker then uses that token to connect right back to the OpenClaw agent running on the victim's computer. And from there, game over. They could turn off all the security warnings and run any command they wanted. Now, the good news is that a patch was released pretty quickly. If you were on any version up to the one from January 24th, you were vulnerable. But anything from January 29th onward is secure. Still, the whole incident was a huge wake-up call for the entire community. And that RCE vulnerability, it wasn't even the only problem. Security researchers started digging and found other massive flaws. Things like prompt injection, where a malicious email could hijack the agent. Data leakage, where secrets could get mixed up between users. And maybe worst of all, they found hundreds of people who had accidentally exposed their control panels to the public internet, leaking API keys and everything. So after all the incredible hype, the brilliant architecture, and the absolutely terrifying security flaws, what does the story of OpenClaw really tell us? Well, it shines a massive spotlight on a fundamental debate about where AI is going next.
Right now, we're seeing two competing visions for the future. On one side, you have the walled garden approach from big tech companies, tightly controlled, super secure, enterprise-grade agents. And on the other side, you've got the wild frontier that OpenClaw represents. Open, modular, totally user-controlled, and running on your own machine. This isn't just a tech debate, it's a philosophical one about control, safety, and innovation.
But this wild frontier creates all sorts of new problems, especially for businesses. One security firm found that a shocking 22% of employees at their client companies were using OpenClaw on work devices. That's a classic case of shadow IT, and it's a huge security blind spot when your employees are giving an unmanaged tool full access to a work computer. And there's another little catch: the cost. Sure, the OpenClaw software itself is free, but running it is a whole other story. Every single thing it does, every web search, every time it analyzes an image, costs money in API calls. These little micropayments can add up to a huge, unpredictable bill at the end of the month, which is a complete non-starter for most businesses. And that leaves us right here with this one massive question. OpenClaw gave us a tantalizing glimpse of a future where powerful AI assistants work for us on our own terms. But it also showed us just how fragile that future can be. So as these tools get more and more powerful, we're all going to have to ask ourselves, is the incredible convenience of a truly personal AI agent worth the profound risk of a total system compromise? That's the trade-off we're all just beginning to figure out.